It's 4:31. We're going to call the meeting of the Fairfield Police Commission to order. And the first item, as always, is the Pledge of Allegiance. And in my office behind me is a flag, so I'll step out of the way and we can do that.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, nice flag, James.
All right, thanks. I'm back. All right. Item number 2 on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. Is there a motion to accept those minutes?
Move to accept the minutes. Peter
Ambrose makes the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I got discussion, though.
Commissioner Stone makes a second. Is there any discussion on the minutes?
Yes. Commissioner Pine, can you hear me? Yeah, so I was acting chairman, and it's just a minor change in the minutes for the special meeting. You doing a special meeting?
No.
We're talking about the minutes, the approval of minutes.
The minutes for the special meeting?
For the public or private, Ron?
Which one?
We're talking about the minutes for the previous meeting held in December by the commission.
Okay, that was,
Do you have
okay.
any amendments to those minutes?
No.
No? All right, hearing none, Commissioner Ambrose, Commissioner Stone, seconded. All those in favor of accepting the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, the minutes are approved. At this time, we're going to go to item number 3 on the agenda, which is a presentation of the Officer of the Quarter. And we will hand that over to, I believe, Captain Calamaris.
Mr. Chairman, we can actually skip that. That was a leftover item from last month. We actually gave that award out last month.
Okay. Sorry, I was not here. I was away. But is there any other acknowledgments that the command staff wants to give at this point, or should we move to the next item?
I'm pretty sure.
We could acknowledge that one of our recent hires was given the award for the American Legion for Officer of the Year for 2020. Dan Loris.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, congratulations. Mm-hmm.
Well, I obviously knew about that, but it's a big award because it's not just American Legion Sheldon; it's the state of Connecticut's American Legion that all voted on that. So that's good to hear and good to have him here. So hopefully he does well.
So excuse me, Commissioner, will that find its way into the patch? I mean, there was some negative publicity about him coming on board to Fairfield. Maybe we should get some positive stuff on him if we could.
That's already hit patch.
Oh, it has?
Yeah, it did. The day after it was announced, it was in patch.
Well, I mean, if the guy got an award, a big award like that, maybe somebody should know, other than just us.
Oh no, it was in patch, and they gave.
Oh, it was.
Oh yes.
Oh, good. Good.
And they cited the extent of the award.
Oh, great. Good, Jack. Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on to item number 4, which is traffic surveys, and there are none. Item number 5 is old business. If there is nothing on the agenda, do any members have any old business that they'd like to bring up? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business. And under new business, I'd like to make a motion to add to the agenda the item to discuss and vote on the process for the selection of a new police chief in accordance with Article 9, Section 21, Subsection A of the town charter. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Ron Pine seconds that. Is there any discussion on that? All those in favor of adding that to the agenda under new business say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay.
Was there a second on that, Jane?
Yeah, Ron Pine.
Jason has to open it up at this point for.
So, is the meeting open to, is the public listening in at this point? Jason?
Chairman Millington, there are no members of the public currently dialed in right now.
Okay. No problem. All right. So the first thing, there was a call for transparency in the process that we're doing to put a new chief in. And, Chief Liddy announced after the last meeting his retirement. So this is the first time that the commission's gotten together to discuss the process in selecting a replacement for him. And obviously we will do something for Chief Liddy in the future, but he leaves big shoes to fill, and I've known him since I was a little kid, and he's dedicated his life to Fairfield. So his send-off has to be one that is representative of all that he's done for this town and all the time that he put in. And obviously we can't do that now, but I hope that we'll do it in the future. And I know he doesn't like that kind of thing, but we will force him to attend. So, that will not be forgotten, and that's not going to go by the wayside as he retires. There will be.
Jamie, you ought to be chairman.
What's that?
You ought to be the chairman of the event.
Well, I'll do that. I'm all about holding events, and
I second that.
we can make a great time out of it. But obviously we can't do that now. So and neither can we swear in a new chief with many accolades at this point because of COVID and everything like that. But these things are not going to be forgotten, and obviously we will celebrate amazing career and also the start of a new chief when we can. But with that said, one of the things that's come up recently, when Chief McNamara left, it was rather seamless. Times have sort of changed a bit when it comes to selecting a new chief. And questions have arisen, and there was a lot of interest in the process and claims that there was lack of transparency. And, we haven't met since the chief made his announcement. So this is the time to make sure that we make the process transparent for all as we move forward. We've never really laid it out as I think we should tonight, but people want to know what the process is and how we're going to do it, and I think we should make it crystal clear so that there's no surprises for anybody that how things are being done and who's involved and what the questions are that are being asked as we move forward. So I think there's a couple of things, and this may be out of an abundance of caution that we're doing this, and we don't necessarily have to do it. But I think we're in a public forum now, and let's lay it out. If anybody has any concerns later, they can bring them up, but nobody can say that we didn't tell them exactly what we're doing. And what we're doing is a decision of yours as a commission. So the first thing that I want to address is, as you know, under the town charter, Article 9, Section 21, subsection A, for the appointment of the police chief, it states the police chief shall be appointed by the police commission with the approval of the first selectman from among the three highest scoring candidates who have passed a competitive examination for police chief. So that leaves a couple of things open, and there have been in the past. In the past, and since back to the 1930s, the department has always promoted from the inside. There is the commission could decide to go outside and do a national search, and that is up to you. So the first question that I'd like to put to vote for the commission and the chief, we need three candidates. eligible within the department who are seeking to take this exam. And the chief has assured us that there are at minimum 3 candidates that have met the qualifications and will be participating in this exam. With that said, the first thing I'd like to take to a vote is whether we keep this process internal or external. And I'd like to make the motion that we keep this process internal, since we have 3 eligible candidates within our ranks who've come up through our department who are willing to take this test.
I'd second that.
Joe Caffarelli seconds that. Is there any discussion on that motion?
Jenny?
Yes, Commissioner Stone.
I would just say, rather than just this time around, that it become the policy of the commission that we remain internal for a bunch of reasons, not the least of which is the impact on morale and our ability to attract other people, as we have from other communities, to join our department. So I'd rather see it really become a policy permanently in place, not just for this replacement.
Okay. So the question on the floor is to keep the promotions held internally, and candidates only currently employed by the police department in Fairfield would be eligible. And there was a second by Joe Caffarelli. Is there any further discussion?
Yes. I got
Ron Fine.
So, for some reason in the future, let's say we only have 2 eligible candidates. Will that person, do we have to go outside then? Or, I understand what Jack's saying, and I agree with him 100%. We have 3 candidates internally, we should stay internally. But if we only have 2 candidates, let's say futuristically, what do we do? Do we go outside the department to get a 3rd candidate?
Well, that's in the charter, so the town charter. So that would, I don't know what would happen at that point. But Commissioner Ambrose,
Yes, my understanding is that we do have 3 qualified men or police officers that can fulfill the position, and I'm perfectly satisfied with that. In the future, obviously, if we did not have that number of qualified individuals, then certainly we would have the opportunity to open this up to outside individuals. But for the time being, I think it should stay the way it is, and we should be able to choose from one of those 3 candidates that are presently members of the Fairfield Police Department.
Jamie?
yes.
Yes,
Commissioner
and
Leva.
I agree with Commissioner Pine and also Commissioner Ambrose. I think it's a great honor that we have these 3 qualified individuals that have come up through the ranks, and they have worked really hard for this position, and I think we should stay internal. I think it would be devastation to the department if we were to go outside after these 3 candidates worked so hard. And even, I think Commissioner Ambrose had mentioned one time, when we're interviewing candidates, we're attracting great people. Why are we attracting them? Because they know they have opportunity in Fairfield. If we didn't have these candidates, then I'd say that's a problem. But we do, and we should be lucky that we have them.
Might I make a further comment? My further comment would be is that these individuals that are deemed to be qualified to fulfill the chief's position, we have a track record on them. We have a history on these individuals, and that's a wonderful thing to have. Then to have to go outside the realm of the purview of these 3 individuals, and hope that we find someone that have better credentials than the officers that we've known for years and years and years.
Actually, that's a very good point. And they work well with the department. We know them. If we were to go outside, we really don't know the individuals until we work with them. However, in this particular case, we are very fortunate to have these 3 candidates that have worked very hard, that came up through the ranks. And I want to stay internal, especially on this.
Okay, is there any further discussion?
Yes.
Kevin?
Jamie, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not sure if I might have missed an email or something. Have the three candidates been formally identified?
They have not at this point. We just requested of the chief to know if there were three candidates who were eligible and wanting to, at least three, eligible and wanting to participate in the exam, which the chief responded in an email to us that the department had that.
Okay, good. So thank you for that. The other question is about the test. Has the test been taken, or does the test still need to be taken by some or all of these candidates? I'm just confused on the timing.
That is going to come up next in the discussion. So this item is just on whether we stay internal or go external. So
well, my position on that is I believe we should stay internal. We have three qualified candidates at least. I like that. I like for all the other reasons without repeating them from the other commissioners. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a credit to our force that we have three qualified, interested candidates that can carry the torch, those big shoes to fill that you mentioned before, and they certainly are big shoes. So I'm proud to be part of that. The one pause in my whole thinking right now is affecting the actions of the future commission down the road. And I wouldn't be supportive of this board today making a vote or taking an action that would limit the options either within or outside the charter for a commission 3, 5, 10 years down the road. I think they should have the right to do at that time what they choose.
Well, the thing is, it's not outlined in the charter how it's done. It's very vague in the charter as I stated, that the police commission shall make the appointment. So I think every future police commission will decide how they're going to handle it, whether internal or external. Things can change in a department, and we'll see what happens. But for today, we have to decide right now on this. And the motion was put forward to keep this process internal. It was seconded. Is there any further discussion on that?
No, there's not for me other than the support of the motion. Thank you, sir.
All right. All those in favor of keeping the promotions internal say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Carries unanimously.
May I, Mr. Chairman, make a comment?
Yes.
It appears that there has been an opportunity for the public to present input on this discussion, but I've heard none. But people have had the opportunity to participate, at least in what's going on here.
Yes, exactly. I mean, there were questions coming forward, so I had thought that there would be members of the public on tonight's.
I mean, just for the record, the opportunity has been given.
Oh, yeah, the opportunity is given, and tonight we're laying out exactly what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, so there should be no questions, and if anybody had questions,
thank you.
They should be on the call, and they can still join in at any time. So the second item that we're going to have to take up is that it says that the candidates must have passed a competitive examination for police chief. And there are various ways to do this. In the past, as we've always done, it has been an oral exam. The questions have been vetted by the outgoing police chief with the assistance of testing agencies to provide those questions or other oral boards that the chief has sat on to make sure those questions are suitable and accommodate a new coming chief for the town of Fairfield and are not something that's gauged towards a metropolitan police department or small town. So with that said, I would like to make the motion that this be an oral test, given an oral board test given by, administered by the police commission as it has in the past, and that those test questions be vetted by the outgoing police chief and presented to the police commission the night of the testing process.
I would like to second that motion.
There's a second by Commissioner Ambrose. Is there any discussion on that? Commissioner Pine.
I think that's an excellent motion, and I believe that my rationale for voting for this is that the three candidates are internal. They have a track record with the Fairfield Police Department and with the town. So it makes it very easy to vet them in an oral exam rather than have like a written exam, because they come with their resume already here. We don't have to go seeking people out all over the country. These people have been working for the department probably for average 20 or 25 years, and we know who they are, we know what they've done. So I agree with your motion. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion from the commission? Hearing none, all those in favor of having the test be done by an oral examination administered by the police commission with the questions vetted by the outgoing police chief, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Carries unanimously. Okay, the third thing that I want to address under this area is during the process of interviewing the candidates for police chief, we need to, there are ex officio members of the police commission, which include the first select woman and the two select persons. And we have never, in recent memory from the research that I've been doing the past few days, had any of those members actually actively participate in the process. But there was a question as to if they wanted to participate, what would be the extent of that participation. So as the town charter states, the police chief shall be appointed by the police commission. We just have to decide now versus having issues on the date of that test, who is going to ask these questions and who is going to ask follow-up questions. It is not clear what role the ex officio members play. In the past, the only time that I know of ex officio members in recent times coming to a police commission was during a public meeting on the issues involving the Julian case, which there were two selectmen there, but never in an executive session hiring process. So I think what we have to do is establish who is going to ask these questions and who is going to be involved in follow-up questions. And my big concern about this is that this is a standardized testing process. Each candidate must be treated in the exact same way, and each candidate must get the same questions. Follow-up questions can vary depending on the answers of the candidate who has been given that question, but follow-up questions that may come outside of the realm of what the initial question is takes the interview in an entirely different direction, which could get us into some legal situations if commissioners are asking one candidate about certain things and not asking others about the same things. So the questions are vetted, questions will be put in place. The follow-up questions should all be in line with the responses of that candidate to that question and not go any further outside of that spectrum. So I think we as commissioners understand that. I don't know if if the selectmen get involved, if they have, individual questions, but I think we need to, set some groundwork now on who's going to ask the questions and who's going to ask the follow-up questions. And I would like to make the motion that we do it as we always had, that the commissioners we'll ask the questions and we'll ask the follow-up questions. Ex officio members can be present during that time.
I'll second that.
That's seconded by Commissioner Stone, and now we'll open that to discussion. Is there any discussion?
I agree 100% with Chairman. I just got my email, but I'll put it on the record. 7 commissioners, different political backgrounds, always fair, non-political. We've done this for new recruits. We know what we're doing, and I agree that no other person should be involved. It's our job as commissioners to appoint the chief. It's in the charter, it's in state law, and there's no reason why anybody else should be involved with the testing process. If they want to listen in, it's up to the chairman, but definitely should be restricted to the commissioners.
I just want to put on record, I agree with Commissioner Pine, and I think it should be the commission. If they are present or they're going to call in, there really shouldn't be any questions asked other than the commission.
I agree as well. And another question is, if you do have these ex officio members there, who's going to control them?
Good question. Mm-hmm.
Well, we've really never had the ex officio members show up. They've sat there and they've been quiet or commented under public session.
Mm-hmm.
This is an executive committee meeting, so they are allowed in. But whether,
Well, you don't want, like you said, you don't want them taking us in a different direction. Are they going to take kindly being told that they can't speak?
Well, I think one of the things that comes down, this is an oral board, so this isn't an open conversation with people. These are vetted questions by the outgoing police chief that are asked to each candidate. All those questions get asked to the same candidate because this process has to be fair and open, so they all must get the same questions.
Right.
Where they take their answers may lead to follow-ups, but we can't have anything outside of that asked to anybody. It's a standardized test. And
I agree with you. I think you've done a great job. Some of these people, sometimes you can't control them.
Well,
do they have to be
we
in
can
the room?
control the conversation on who's asking questions and who is.
All right.
Okay. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, we're still under executive order from the governor, so we can only limit the participants to 10 or under. So if we have 7 commissioners there and we have the candidate, that's 8. So we're not going to be able to have the 3 selectmen there. Is that correct? We can only have 10 or less people in the room, right? So they can't be there.
Well, I'm sure if for some reason they showed up, maybe some sort of video thing could be set up outside the main room. But the decision comes down to as far as the questions go. The motion that was made was that the questions be asked by the commission members and the follow-up questions be asked by the commission members. And to leave it at that. And there was a second to that. Is there any further discussion on that? So hearing none, all those in favor of having, when it comes to the oral board, the commission members.
I said yes. Yes, I had a couple questions.
Oh.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I had myself on mute. I apologize. I agree. It is the role of this commission and the responsibility of this commission under the charter and the state charter to conduct this process and to make this decision and ask the questions and keep the conversation focused on that and that only. I completely agree with that. Further to that, I was thinking that I know how in the past, we've kind of shifted the question asking around the room from different members for different candidates, as part of our process. if we really want to be consistent and fair and square and keep everything completely equal, I think the chairman should ask all the questions, frankly. I think all the questions should come from one person. I think that person should be the chairman. And of course, there will be follow-up questions that need to pertain to the question that was asked. And I think those questions should come from the commission members only. I think that's the right and the fair process for us to follow. It's consistent with past practice. It's consistent with the charter, and it's consistent with our role and responsibility. So that's how I feel about the entire process. And it's consistent with the other comments that we have made. The only question I ask of myself is, certainly other ex officio members are welcome to be there. I don't see why there's any issue with that, whether it's a COVID thing or not. I don't know that answer. That's not my area of expertise. Certainly, I believe they have a right to be welcome should they choose to be welcome, as any ex officio member of the commission is. And I think we should just, keep it simple. And I think the chairman should run the meeting, and I think the chairman should weigh in on follow-up questions, even if one of us happens to ask a follow-up question that is not germane to the original question. I think the chairman should exercise his or her right to direct that question elsewhere. Thank you.
Well, I have no problem if the commission wants me to ask the questions, and then you all can follow up on those questions.
Jamie?
Yeah.
I disagree to some degree with that. I think there's a lot to be said about keeping all the commissioners involved, and we're all asking the same questions. It's not like we're creating them in our own minds. We've got a sheet. It's worked very, very well with all of our recruits. I do agree that if there's a deviance from that area, that it's the chairman who can either allow that question to go forward or be stopped. But I like the idea of everybody getting involved, because when you ask a question, the commissioner gets a particular personal feeling in just the initial reaction, the eye contact, and things of that nature, rather than always focused in one spot.
Okay, well, I mean, obviously we can discuss who's going to ask what on the day of that test, but the initial motion here is that the questions be asked only by the members of the commission, and that follow-up questions will only be asked by members of the commission and not any ex officio members. So we have a first and a second to that. Is there any further discussion on that?
Yeah, I've got one further comment on that. I do think it's important for us to make sure that we get guidance from the town attorney. Is there anything wrong with us making this decision? I support this decision. I think it's the right way for us to go from a process perspective. What I don't know is if there are any rights or responsibilities assigned to an ex officio member that we might be in violation of by making this decision. I would ask that the town attorney just opine on what I believe we're about to vote for.
I have spoken to the town attorney over the past 3 days about this. So there is nothing that sets us. There's nothing in writing that says anything other than that the police commission runs the process. So I mean, we can make the rules of the testing process as we do now. It's an open public meeting that anybody could be at here to, if they had any counter opinions to that, to express those, and the commission could vote on them. But the process starts in a week, so we're trying to lay down the ground rules now for that.
No, so thank you for doing that in advance. I think that was a great and a smart thing to do, and the right answer to get from them. So thank you in advance for getting my question answered. I'm good to go.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion that the questions be asked only by commission members and follow-up questions only be asked by full members of or regular members of the police commission. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, that carries unanimously. The next thing I want to discuss when it comes to the testing process, it was never this difficult before, is when it comes time following those interviews to make the deliberations. In the past, from what I've heard, those deliberations have always been just kept to full members of the police commission and exclude ex officio members, or not exclude them, but the ex officio members have never attended the deliberations. All of this is held in executive session. But I know that there were some strong feelings on some commissioners that when we go to deliberate following the interviews, that it just be the 7 of us on the commission that are in there with no other outside influences from ex officio or political influencers or what have you. So I think we need to make that clear today before we run into a problem when we're actually doing this, to establish those boundaries.
Can I make a motion?
Yes. Commissioner Ambrose.
I'd like to make a motion that as far as the actual decision in an election, that only the members of the police commission shall be present at that time and participate in that decision.
Second.
I'll second that.
And we have a second by Commissioner Stone. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of having the deliberations open only to the regular members of the police commission, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, that carries unanimously. And at this point, now we must set the date for the testing process, which I would like to, hold on. Since the police chief is, is Chief Liddy still on the call, or?
Yes, I am, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Chief, are you ready to go if we have an interview as far as the questions go and everything else you need to do? If we have those interviews slated for Tuesday, January 19th at 4:30?
Correct. We have already posted that as a special meeting of the police commission.
Okay. All right. So having that been posted, why don't we just officially make sure that we have all of our I's dotted and T's crossed here, that the promotional oral board examinations will be held on Tuesday, January 19th at 4:30 at police headquarters, with the commissioners appearing in person with the candidates.
Anybody in the building who has not received their first COVID vaccination to help.
What's that? What was that?
As
The public
PA,
announcement.
Right away.
Sorry, that was our intercom here.
Oh, okay. All right, so all those in favor of the oral board examinations to be done by the police commission in person at police headquarters on Tuesday, January 19th at 4:30, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, that is officially set. Does anybody else have anything to add in regards to the testing process, transparency, or anything as we move forward in selecting the new police chief?
Yes, I do.
Commissioner Kiley.
Yeah, just a question, and this might just be my confusion on the word testing. When I was asking earlier in this item about the testing for the applicants, the 3 applicants, I wasn't talking about, I wasn't asking about the oral questions / testing that we're going to be delivering. I thought before that, above and beyond that, there was a written test that qualified them to be candidates. And if there is or isn't, I was asking about that. And is there a test that any and all interested candidates have to take to become on the qualified list to come before us?
I would defer that question back to Chief Liddy and his 30-odd years of experience with the department and to let us know the history there.
So we are considering the oral interview process by the commission as the qualifying test. It is, we've done that in the past, for the past at least 45 years. That interview has constituted the test. I'm only aware of one instance in our history back in the early 70s where we actually sent the 3 qualified candidates down to Virginia for a testing scenario that took place down there, hosted by the International Association of Chiefs of Police. But in every other instance, the test is taking place next Tuesday before the police commission.
Wow, well, thank you for that. See, I just didn't know. I thought like, and I'm kind of the new guy in the block here still. I thought kind of like with some of the other captains testing and things like that, I thought there might have been a qualifying written test that people had to take to become candidates. So it's not that case, is what I'm hearing.
Correct. It's not that case. Qualifying candidates have to have 12 years of service as a police captain or greater, and 2 years with the rank of captain or greater to become eligible candidates.
Good. Well, thank you very much for that clarification, Chief. Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate that.
Sure. Do any of the other commissioners have any questions about the testing process at all? All right. Hearing none. Does anybody else have any new business that they'd like to bring before us, any of the commissioners?
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner Pine.
So is Mrs. Janda still there? Is she there, Chief? She's still the secretary?
Yes, she is taking the minutes, and she's in the room with us.
So I just want to point out, so everybody knows that she's retiring, and I want to express my gratitude for her service to the Fairfield Police Department all these years. So I figured that just wanted to make that publicly known.
Very polite.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yep. Very helpful. Congratulations to her retirement, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You'll be missed big time.
The virtual clap.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we have some sort of, it's tough when you retire during these times. Nobody even gets to say goodbye in person. But, hopefully we'll have something, or you'll have to come to Chief Liddy's retirement party. We'll have a separate roast on the side for you.
Hey, Jamie.
Yeah.
I'd like to be put on that committee.
All right. Oh, for sure. Yeah. So we'll get that together. We'll talk to, unfortunately with everything going on, all these retirements and everything are on hold, but we definitely will honor everybody that we can moving forward. It's just going to be a matter of time before we can make it fun again. So with that said, anybody else with any new business?
Mr. Chairman, I have 2 items that I need added to the agenda, real quick items.
All right, Chief Liddy.
First one, just a clarification on the minutes. We did hold a special meeting on December 10th, and we'd like to ratify those minutes, which should have been included in your packet, and I believe Commissioner Pine might have had a correction to those.
Okay.
That's correct. It's just they had the election where Commissioner Millington was elected chairman, although he was in Africa. He was elected as secretary. So when the meeting came, the new chairman wasn't there, so I took over as the next in line as the acting chairman. So that's the only thing different in the minutes.
Okay, is there a motion to accept the minutes of the special meeting from December 10th?
I move to accept the minutes for the meeting.
Second.
Ambrose, is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Lebo, are there any amendments other than Ron's to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of accepting the minutes from the special meeting of December 10th, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, the minutes are approved. Chief, your next item?
I'd like to add some donations that we recently received to benefit the Animal Control Department.
Okay. Do you want to read the donations, or are there a lot of them, or?
No, there's only 6. I can get through them real quick, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
$25 from Philip Spala, $20 from Alina Zulicki of Howard Street, $10 from Donna Carasone from Jarvis Court, $20 from Laura Carroll of Palmetto Drive, $2,000 from McMahon Insurance Associates on Villa Avenue, $60 from Chris Ferrara of North Strand Avenue, and that's for a total of $2,135.
Well, that's great. Is there a motion to accept those donations?
I move to accept those donations.
Second.
Ambrose, Commissioner Stone seconds. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, the donations are accepted. Is there any other new business? All right, hearing none, we're going to move on to item number 6, which is the monthly report. Chief?
So the monthly report, I hope you all get a chance to take a look at it. There was certainly some noteworthy police work last month. One thing we did in addition, based on a question from last month, I believe, was that we had broken out some of the calls for service that we felt were impacted either positive or negatively via the COVID pandemic. And that exists in a separate memo from Deputy Chief Smith to myself. And if anybody had any questions regarding those particular calls for service that we felt changed from last year based on our COVID environment. Other than that, I'd be happy to entertain, or we would be happy to entertain any questions on the monthly report.
Chief?
Yes, Commissioner.
Chief?
Yep, go ahead.
Just first off, I think that's a great addition to, since December is the year end and it's a comparison of the previous year. So kudos to you and to the deputy. But under the area of stolen vehicles, I was surprised.
Joseph Kelly, call your office.
I was surprised to see that in property thefts, pursuit is no longer an option, even for vehicles. And I'm just wondering, is that part of state statute? Is that just an agreement coming out of post, or when did this all transpire?
So we're fairly recently, within the last year, we are required to adhere to a model policy that the state has provided us, and our internal policy does mirror that. And basically, it does prohibit motor vehicle pursuits for property crimes without extenuating circumstances. That's not a Fairfield decision, that's a statewide decision.
So that you sort of anticipated my next question. Officers do have a certain level of discretion if they believe that something else has occurred.
Correct, along with supervisors that are required to monitor all vehicle pursuits.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions on the monthly report? Hearing none. Chief, do you have anything else to add?
I have nothing further other than thank you very much, as always, for your time this evening. And it's been an honor and a privilege to work with this commission and past commissions. Greatly appreciate everything you've done for our agency and everything you will do for our agency.
Well, thank you, Chief, and we will definitely miss you, and we will definitely have a good celebration when the time is right for that. And
Mr. Chairman, if I
yes.
just might add, we certainly enjoyed working with our chief, Liddy, and also I just want to let you know that I received a lot of public comments on what a great chief you were and what a nice person you were great to have in the community. So with that, also I'd like to add to Jamie, you set up our celebration. I'd certainly like to help.
Well, we will do that.
I know, right?
It will be a good one. So,
yeah.
All right. With that said, the agenda looked so short. This looked like a 5-minute meeting until about a week ago. But we got everything done. I think everything has been laid out publicly, and then I hope that everybody involved sees the open and transparent process that we have for selecting the new chief. I think if anybody had any issues with that, they would have been in attendance tonight, and there were none. If there are any things that arise between now and the 19th, I'll bring them to your attention, but I think we're in very good shape. We've outlined the process, I think, in more detail than it's ever been done before. So I think we are in very good shape. So I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Jamie, before you do that, I just want to thank you for your leadership tonight.
Yes.
Excellent.
Thanks.
You did a great job. Thank you.
Good job, Amy.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Charlene makes the motion. Commissioner Ambrose seconds. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Abstention? We stand in adjournment. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, buddy. See you next week.